I'm gonna have this sort of tough talk about things that no one really knows, but is known. The things that we know, but we don't know. For example, demonic forces, and not that it just exists, but that we are left privy to it. We're in a world where this stuff exists, where you can leave out your home, come back and find that you were robbed. You can be sleep in your bed and your heart stops. You could be going on your morning walk and meet someone that has the intentions to harm you in a world where speaking up for righteousness, speaking up for what's just, for example, children should not be trafficked. In other words, they should not be sold for money, for food, for anything. They should not be abused, as in, no grown person should be messing with children sexually or any sort of way unless this is your child and it's your responsibility to take care of your child. That's the only person, adult, that should be with your child, with the child. Any other person, it should be monitored. You should be keeping a close eye on because there are people that abuse the innocents, the people that are weaker. That's a leeway for them. That that to them they find they can gain access because the person's weaker, because they can't speak or defend themselves. We're living in a world where we're all exposed to it. It can happen to anybody, just in all things. Being exposed to the apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse, as I like to call it, exposed to the STDs, the diseases, the plagues. Leprosy was a big one, right? But in today's age, we still have leprosy cases today, but and today we hear about HIV, which is a killer because it attacks your immune system. It goes straight to your defense system. That's a killer. That plague is a killer. It's not saying, oh, let's go to the brain or let's go to the arm or let's go to the foot but let's go to the I. It said, let's go to the defense system that keeps us healthy, that fights for us. Every time we get a sort of infection or a cold, or we're living in a world where we're privy to all of these things, in a world where people can be deceived and won't even know it. This is a freaking horror movie, and I am a fan of horror. Yes, indeed. I've always been. I've never been scared of those things. It excites me, actually, because I actually feel something. But I also can stand it. I'm solid. I understand who I am, and I understand what's happening in these stories and these movies, these thrillers. There's a meaning, there's a reason, there's a storyline. It may even be based off true stories, which most of them are. Most of them are, because there is a meaning behind it. Yeah, it's the negative things in the world, but just as I expose the negative things, what makes it any different? Now I just happen to watch a movie about the things that I speak about, or read a story about it. What's so different? I have to live among a horror, a thriller, a suspense in my actual reality. So excuse me if I don't mind watching horror or reading it in maybe sort of a virtual reality. What's so different? So for the folks that are weird about those things, well, how about you say it in a way for people to understand it? Weaker minds should not, just like in actual reality, should not be seeing such things, should not be hearing such things, but they do. How about we talk about that they actually do in reality? Not that they should not watch these things virtually, but that they have no choice to watch it because it's right in their homes. You knew that was coming. They have no choice but to open their eyes because it is you that the force is in. The demonic forces are in. The demonic forces are working in. They have no choice but to be in the same house as you. They have no choice but to be with you and the things that you do in the world. People are even laying next to people with these forces. But no, you're something's wrong with you if you watch a horror film. I don't think so. I have no choice but to watch you and the things you do to these children in this world, in reality. And these movies happen to be based off you. And then you got the nerve to say that someone may be evil or whatever you may say if we watch those things. No, ma'am. How about you stop? But you can't stop. You can't stop being what you are or what's inside of you. Because once that stops, then the movies and the stories will stop. But because you don't stop and you still exist, that the forces that are in you, these movies and these stories will continue on generationally, passed down generationally. It's talking about you. And because of those forces are still in you, now it's passed down to the next generation. And that's just what the storyline is talking about. That's what the movie is talking about. It was in their parents' generation, but now it's in their children's generation. Now they have to deal with these demonic forces. You see that storyline? Doesn't that storyline remind you of this reality? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So I'm a very, very big fan of horror. I actually look for it. A good horror film. Because I know the truth. And I know that it's true. And it's a choice. You don't have to watch it. You can watch it. Just like you can talk about the truth or you don't have to talk about the truth. You don't have to talk about the darkness or you can talk about the darkness. What's the difference? So because I talk about darkness, I must be dark, but I'm talking about you. You see this deception where because I talk about darkness, I must be dark. But lo and behold, I am talking about those people that you may know but can't see is dark. But for some reason, I've become the dark one just for exposing them. You see, there's a reason why you expose them because they may be walking in the light. They may have some sort of camouflage or some sort of cloak, some sort of disguise, whether that be hiding behind a suit, clean clothes, gender, age, a job, a high esteem job, right? A priest. They may be sitting in those sort of seats. A lawyer, a judge, a police officer, security guard, a CNA. They may be hiding behind these things to where most people may look at it and say, well, no, this person is a police officer. This person is a surgeon. No way. They're looking at those titles. They're looking at the surface. They're looking at the disguise. They're looking at the covering. They're looking at the veil. What's underneath it? The force, the spirits, the soul, the meaning, the intent, the truth. But I become dark. No. You see, and that's the same thing. I have a solid understanding of who I am. So just as I'm solid, those things won't penetrate. Since I am solid in my understanding, I am not privy to those influences. I am not privy to those spirits and those forces. And you're a force with your accusations. You're a force when you try to tarnish me. But since I am solid, again, though I am privy to all of this, it will not penetrate me. Same message. I can't say the same for someone that isn't solid in their understanding because if they're not, then it will affect them. And this isn't everything. Whether they watch the movie, hear a story, or out in the world where people are tarnishing their name, they're heavily affected and they're heavily weaker and have a higher chance where there is open access to those forces forces that are in the invisible realm, the forces that are in these bodies, and the physical. Pretty much simple philosophy. So I speak about the truth of the darkness. Am I dark? I could be. I could. Some are. Why do you think they know so many things? They're in that realm, they're in that force. They're from that world. And then there's people that are not. They're not dark. Because in that world, there are forces that are good. No one is going to be scared per se. No one's going to be too much worried if they have a strong understanding of who they are and where they're from and what's going on and why. It's when you don't know. It's usually when you're young and you hear thunder and you hear that there is a tornado warning. You hear that it's close. You're terrified. There's fear because you don't know. And you may not have built up faith yet, built up strength yet because you're young. So you feel and you're open and you're privy, but that's because you're young. And that's why they prey on the young much more because they know that they don't know and that they'll listen to anything. They don't know what to believe. And they're just weaker. So when you come across an adult that doesn't have a sense of self, something's wrong. They have not done the work that was supposed to be done pretty much as life goes on. Like as the days, as time, they should have been like aligned. So things are gonna throw themselves at you, trials, tribulation. And if you're not passing those trials, if you're not building yourself, building your strength and your belief and your faith through those things, and how you do that is by having faith in yourself. Like you have a decision to make when a trial is right in your face, and it's either to choose your integrity or to choose to be weak. It's one of those things. And it may be different. It may look different every time, but the core of it is, do I use my integrity? Do I walk with my head tall? Do I walk alone? Because walking alone means I don't walk with a bully. Walking alone meant, you know, that would have been a solid decision because my other my other option was to walk with someone that's two-faced, it someone that I know is a liar, someone I know that doesn't like me, someone that I know is actually talking about me. But do I have the decision? And if I do, what do I choose? Or it could be someone wants you to leave their house. I could stay and suck up to them, which most of the time will never work. But am I going to plead, or am I going to just maybe ask why? There is nothing wrong with explanation. Some of them don't even grant you that. But you can ask with your integrity, and then you can leave. Because I'm sure you asked because it didn't make sense. You didn't do much to deserve this sort of treatment. So you're curious. Your heart is wanting to know why. And whatever their excuse is, you still have to make the decision because ultimately you still know the truth. And the truth is they want you out of their house. So again, the core is, am I going to use my integrity, or am I going to be weak? Am I going to confront the truth? Am I going to face it? Or am I going to deny it and ignore it when that doesn't help? Because if they want you gone, they want you gone. I don't know why you're in here ignoring it. I don't know why you're in here acting like you didn't hear it. I don't know why you're here and still here. Because now they're gonna have no choice but to probably kick you out, throw you out, right? So no matter what the scenario is, life is about choice, and life is about your morality. Life is about your character. You can go to certain places like you know lower lower places. I call it lower because they don't view. You leave your morals at the door. You leave your character, and then you literally put on a mask. You masquerade. In those sort of places, it's a it's like an illusion because it's not real. It's not real. It's not the root of what's real. It may exist, illusions, deceptions, killers, you know, demonic entities, but is that who you want to be? Is that what God created you to be? Because if you're evil, then you're just evil. You should just be evil. But if you have some good in you, then that's that's that inner understanding that I have a choice, that I still have hope, I still have my own will. I wasn't born evil. It's not a real place because outside of that place there's still hope. There's still such thing as character and morals. So when you leave those sort of places, you're going to feel shameful because that other part of you. But if you don't have that other part, if you don't have that other part, you won't feel shame. You would actually be demonic, and those places you belong. You would not feel any sort of conviction. So this is a tough thing for some, for most, because people avoid it. People avoid when they themselves may have a demonic force in them. That's how they hide. They hide in a way where they try to pin it on someone else, make someone else look like the devil, the demon. Just as I'm saying, I'm not dark. I talk about dark things because I'm trying to expose them. Because they, if it was up to them, they would not tell you, they would not. And if they could, they would try to hide it. They probably will try not to show it, right? They'll hide behind certain things. But we all know that they can't. Eventually, they slip up. You can't hide who you are for long. Doesn't matter how good of an actor you are. And there's many actors. There's people that actually want to be an actor. When this whole world is a script, this whole world is a book written, a story, a prophecy. Just be yourself because it's already written, it's already a movie, it's already done. And I'll leave it there.